Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is the second episode of the Swayside Connection. This is just a podcast where I reconnect with high school friends. And on this episode, who do we have here? Who's with me?
It's me. It's Corey Alexander, aka Big Sandman.
Big Sandman in the house. And so I don't know who's going to watch it. And it's funny because it's the most watched thing on my channel is the conversation me and James had. And so
crazy.
So it's
crazy.
It is crazy. So what's funny is I sent that video to Corey, to the Big Sandman, and then what happened?
I mean, I was really at work. I was at work, sent the podcast. I'm getting
You
things
didn't even
ready for the day.
You didn't even finish the video, by the way.
Oh, I finished.
No, I know,
hey,
but
I finished the video.
When you text me, you didn't finish the video.
No, not at all. I was probably only 15, not even 15 minutes into it. Oh man, when I sent you back right away, I was like, I got dibs on episode 2.
Yep. And I was like, let's go. And so I was like, it's on. Heck yeah. So I was so excited. When I seen that, I was like, that's perfect. That's the type of energy I'm looking for on this show. So it's just like, heck yeah. And so, yeah, man, how you been?
Man, just living. I've been good. I mean, we getting up there.
So we are getting up there. I mean, like I said, it's been 27 years. And so it's just been crazy. So just kind of give us a recap. You know, you can give us the highlights, like I told James. Yeah, man, just tell us anything you want to tell us, and then anything that you don't want to tell us, just don't tell us that and cut that out. We'll flow. I'm here to have a good time.
Look, let me get this. Let me take a sip. I've been sipping on some of that yak.
There we go.
I saw James sipping, so hey, cheers.
Cheers.
But yeah, 27 years, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy every time I say it.
When you say it like that, it's crazy.
I know.
Like sometimes I forget. I think I'm still young. I think I'm still one of them young boys.
Same.
But
I'm
yeah,
delusional like that. But my body tells me. Yeah, my body definitely tells me, bro, you're not 18 anymore. For sure. My body tells me that.
I told someone the other day they wanted to do some football drills on my nephews, and I was like, man, like with the one good knee, like the way that one good knee works.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't got it. So that one was like a realization right there, because in his head, I still had it, and for a minute, I thought I still had it, but I was like, nah, can't do that. But yeah, let me rewind.
I don't have. Yeah.
But yeah, so we graduated 98. I was
98.
didn't really know what to do. I knew I wanted to go to college, but just wasn't for me. I was kind of like James. The streets started calling, so I was hustling for a little bit. But the difference is, the whole time I was working at a car dealership. Most people remember this. Malin Ford. Worked at Malin Ford. A lot of people was there too. Yeah. We was running that area over there. But
who was there with you? Who's there? Like, who's some people that you?
Quentin Rector, Mickey Travis, Randy Pinotes. I know you know him. He didn't go to school with us, but this other cat, he's cool people. I know you met him, Ben Wilson.
Okay, yeah,
He used to live with Jay and Randy.
Oh yeah.
I think they all, like when I first moved, when me and Shrita first moved away, I think they all had that house over there.
Road. Is he mixed? Is he he's white and Korean or something, or is he he's kind of white? Yeah. I remember him.
Swole up these days. Yep. So, they worked over there. One of Quentin's older cousins, Richie Carter, worked there. Like it was a good time. Yeah,
damn,
man. It was
you guys all work together.
All work together. Hey,
dude.
I know I'm forgetting some names.
It would have been dude. You guys are just, that's funny. I love when you're with your people at a place, and it's like, man, it's just fun, you know. So
every day was fun, and plus, like I said, back then we was like, most of us was working and then hustling, but we knew we had to work. Just see me in a little cover story.
Yeah. I mean, everybody was so young back then, so it was just like, everybody's trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Getting money, so we wanted to get money too. So, but yeah, that was fun times right there. Then from there, worked at Galore Paging for a while. Actually, crazy
Gloria.
story I just thought about. Me and
Yeah, that's what we're
James,
here for. That's
hey,
what.
hey,
Okay.
me and James, hey, episode 1, shout out James Jackson. We
He
we
did so
worked at
good.
Galore Paging. Like back then,
That does
somehow
sound
we both
familiar.
were so yeah, I was working at the Galore Paging over there on 6th Ave for a little while, but then just people were catching cases, and I'm seeing the walls falling down around me. So
Yeah.
that's where I was like, yeah, babe. Like when I say babe, shout out Shrita,
Shout out to
long time.
Wifey. Long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. But also, yeah, we got to get out of here. So that's when we first moved. That was 2003. Yeah, no, 2004, early 2004.
Yeah.
I sold a couple cars, got rid of everything in the apartment, TVs, all the fun stuff, and we hopped on the Greyhound to North Carolina.
Uh,
That's when we initially left Washington State, and I was trying to like figure it out.
yeah.
Got to North Carolina.
I didn't realize you guys went to North Carolina. I thought, I just thought you guys went to like a Dallas, Missouri area, but fill us in, fill us in. That's
Yeah, yeah.
interesting.
I was only there for a couple months because the goal was,
Okay.
and so you're technically right because I think
Okay.
you like at the time we moved, we had talked in some fashion or form, and I was going to Texas. But I
Okay.
was
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
there. I was going to Texas, but we went to North Carolina because Shrita's sister was there.
Oh,
She
gotcha.
was
Okay.
stationed. She was in the Air Force, so we went down there to mess around for a little bit.
Yeah.
Was there for like a month and a half, and then I just went to Texas.
Okay.
So because I was gonna do electrical with my uncle,
Okay.
and
Yep. Yep.
so yeah, yeah. And so I went down there. My uncle put me on. I was doing electrical. I lived with my uncle for a little bit, stacked some money, got an apartment.
Where in Texas? Where in Texas were you at?
Dallas, technically Plano, Texas, but I was like in that Dallas in that DFW area.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
area. Yep.
Hey, it's a fun, hey, good times in the DFW. Hey, it goes
I
down.
had a friend that lived in Addison. Addison.
Uh
I
huh.
don't know if you know where that's at, but
I
that
know
they
Addison.
had hella restaurants. They had like, I think they were telling me they had like the record number of different types of chain restaurants. They had the most chain restaurants in like a
They
certain
have,
area in the country or something like that. It was crazy. And
yeah,
so I was
they
like,
got a
oh
lot of
yeah, I love.
chain restaurants, but they got a lot of like unique restaurants too. So
Okay.
it's like good food. It's like back then, it's like good club culture. There's always somebody in
Okay.
Dallas like performing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went there, and then Shrita flew out, and yeah, I was just like doing electrical, and around that time we had our first kid.
I was just gonna ask. I was like, did you guys have like were kids involved in this traveling? So no, that's good. That's
Nope,
like makes
nope,
it
no
kind of
kids
easier.
involved. Yep,
Yeah, that's
yep.
damn nice.
We were just roaming. I mean, we were just kind of roaming at the time,
It's a good time to do
and
that. When you don't have kids, the roaming is much easier. I'm currently roaming myself right now, so it's
the
so I
roaming
don't.
was fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hey,
Cause
I do have fun.
we literally hopped on a bus with pockets full of money and was like just took our time. We rode the bus across the country. So we got
Dude,
like
so how long did
memories of
that take?
every state. Man, that took like because we weren't on a time frame, so we took our time, and it was like 7, 8 days. I mean,
That's
we
actually
stopped
quick.
some
That's
nights.
quicker than I thought, actually, because
Really?
I
Like,
think I've only taken the Greyhound like from like Seattle to Vancouver, and that felt like it took like 6 hours, and I was like, dude, that was brutal. I haven't taken, you know what I've always really wanted to do? I've wanted to like slow travel on a train across the country, or James actually told me he took a train from Seattle to LA or something like that one time.
yeah,
And I was like, dude, that sounds hella fun. Just
yeah.
chill, relax on the train, like enjoy the food on there. And then, yeah, you kind of
It's a
get to like
vibe.
stop in some places. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I did it in
Do
like
you, do you,
probably 12.
do you
Me and
remember?
two. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you remember how many different buses that took? By the way, so 7 days, or 7, 8 days.
Yeah, seven
That's a pretty
days.
long trip.
I can't tell
It
you.
was
It was
like
a lot of we got off
a different bus
buses.
every day.
we got hotels for at some places. We got back on the bus.
Yeah.
It was probably, I don't know. I don't even got an estimate. It was a lot of buses.
I mean, it was like 20
I'll
years
never
ago
do it
too.
again.
So I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I'll never
yeah,
do anything. Hey, I knew that after we did it. I was like, I'll never do that again.
one and done. One and
One and
done.
done.
Okay, go ahead. My bad. I cut you off.
No, you're good. Let's see. So yeah. So my uncle put me on. That was fun. Like my electrical days were, like I said, good, honest money. I was working. I've always been down to work with my hands, and I like the technical side of things.
For sure.
So yeah, electrician was fun. I started doing our home security side. I ran a home
Okay.
security
Yeah.
department at the same electrical company. Let's see, I can't remember the years, man. It's like I said, 27 years, so it's like a blur.
Yeah. There's a lot. It's a lot.
But yeah. So I did that. At one point, that's when we moved to Missouri. So I remember, like, again, hey, and that's one thing. Even if I change numbers somehow, like there was a couple people who were able to get a hold of me, and you were always one of them. Like I
Yeah,
don't know
man.
how that worked. Like
I'm
you
a
were always able to get a hold of me
I'm an
because I
undercover
remember talking
stalker.
to you in Missouri.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah, because
yep,
I remember, yeah, especially when that hurricane came through. That's when I
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
yeah. So that's,
yeah.
but yeah, I don't want
That
to
was a big one.
move
Yeah, that
ahead.
was a
But
big
yeah,
one.
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what year
So
was
yeah,
that when
so
you moved to Missouri?
let's see. Alani was probably like 2. She was born in December of '04, so maybe
Okay,
'06,
six.
'07.
Okay,
Yeah, 6 or 7 is when, because I was doing electrical for like 3, 4 years, so maybe '08. So it's probably
okay, yeah, yeah,
yeah. Because hey, crazy thing, we moved. So we moved to Missouri.
yeah.
And then that's when Katara came in. That's when child number 2 came in. It was
Wow,
2008. Yeah, so we're like, dang man, it's like something about moving
moving.
state to state. We gotta have a kid in every state. I guess that's how it works. And so actually, that's a good way to keep my timeline. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was like 2008 because she was born in Missouri. The
Oh,
hospital, the tornado you're talking about, the
yeah.
hospital she was born in, a sign from that hospital was found like 50 miles away in Springfield, Missouri.
Wow,
However
man,
far Springfield, Missouri was from Joplin, Missouri, they found a sign from the hospital Qatar was born in.
that's crazy.
Yeah, like that. And that was a crazy time. That was I was a little bit after my dad had passed.
Yeah,
So
yep,
my mom and my brother were living in the house, and it just like obliterated the house. My mom hung on
yeah.
to like one of the closet organizers. It wasn't even a real
I
closet
remember that.
arrangement. It's just like one of the organizers. She survived the tornado,
Wow,
like went through the epicenter almost in that closet. Everything around her, the whole house, torn down. I have a picture where you see everything torn down except that closet.
that's
Right.
crazy. That's
Crazy thing.
crazy. And I remember that.
Yep.
I remember because I think I remember you saying I put you on Facebook actually. I was one of the something like that.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Hey,
because it was
you called me, you said, hey, I know this like website. If you get on there and you got 50 friends, you'll have 500 friends. Hey, that
damn,
was
I said that, and
absolutely. I remember that.
that's crazy. Yeah, that's just like me always kind of like being up on the internet, and that was years later after Facebook. Facebook had already kind of been around for a while, but yeah, no, I just felt like, and because I felt like I was a little late to Facebook. So then when I got on, everybody that I seen that wasn't on yet, I felt like I had to get them on because it was like, this thing's kind of cool. Like you get to like talk to so many people. All these people are on here. So yeah,
Yep. I
that's
say,
crazy.
Mr. Heinz, aka Mr. Put me on the Facebook. Hey, I still
Yeah.
tell people. I actually told somebody that like maybe a couple months ago. I work with young people. And so they were talking
Yeah.
about Facebook's old, and I was like, man, my homeboy Heinz put me on to that way back in the day. I was like, hey, probably
Yeah.
when y'all was still little.
Yeah. Damn. I mean, Facebook is like 20 years old and then YouTube just turned 20 years old. So it's weird, these
Man,
numbers that we're coming out with. Like when we graduated, none of this stuff was out. So it's a
oh,
trip. just
barely had cell phones.
exactly. Do you know anybody that had a cell phone? Like I said, I think I only knew Tim that had one in high school. Did you know anybody else that had a cell phone in high school?
Like only people's parents. Like I didn't know. I
Yeah,
didn't even know Tim had one till you guys said it. But like I
yeah,
remember like I remember when my dad had like a cell phone, like but it was for work. Like if work had to call him,
yeah.
like
Yep.
hey, we touched that cell phone. Hey, because back then you think
Yeah,
when we had cell phones it was expensive. So that when he had one,
yeah.
hey, that shit was hella expensive. So
No,
if we
you know
touched
what's
that cell phone,
yeah.
hey, yeah, yeah, we didn't want to touch that cell phone. A couple,
You know
like I
what's
said, only
funny?
people's parents had cell phones back then.
Well, it's funny because you and James ended up working at Galore Paging, and so it's so funny because that was the technology that was the first thing I had was a pager, and I was 18. I was already graduated, and I got a pager. And
Yeah,
when I got that pager, I thought it was so cool. But it's like such a primitive technology because it's like, okay, you get a page. Now what? Now you got to find a phone, and and then and then you could call that person back. It's like
yeah.
so it's so funny.
I was explaining
Yeah,
that to the kids one day, and they're like, "That's just it's too much work." They're like, "I was like, yeah, we
exactly,
got the page. We had to stop, find a quarter, find whatever the change was, and then we had to find a payphone." I was telling them like
exactly.
there was payphones everywhere, but we still had to find one. They're like, "Man, that's a
It's
lot of
so
work, Dad."
true.
Like
It
to
is a
them, that
lot
was
of
some
work.
Stone Age stuff.
I mean, you just the convenience today. I mean, look, we're doing this podcast with the technology we had today, and it's so funny talking about pagers. But that was, like I said, like because the technology was so primitive back then, having a pager, I thought it was so cool though. I was like, yeah, you could just page me whenever.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I said again, going back, we saw what the older homies had and what they was doing. So
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
true.
Like the
Yeah,
pagers to us, like especially
was
our generation, the
yeah,
pagers were like, hey, we made it. If you had a pager back
yeah,
then,
exactly,
you made
exactly,
it. Yeah, so
exactly.
yeah, definitely, yeah, the pager we had those, but yeah, man, no cell phones. Not till after I was old enough, probably 2000, 2001.
That's
I was
exactly
working
when I
at a
got mine. I think I got
yeah,
mine in 2001 or 2 is when I got we had a earthquake. Oh, were you here for the earthquake? There was like an earthquake in like 2001 or 2, and it was after that earthquake is when I got myself well, that's when I was like, "Oh, I probably should get a cell phone to kind of be more connected for emergencies," right? So that's kind of what made me get my first cell phone was like that earthquake. So yeah, that was crazy. That was just where were you at during that earthquake? Do you remember?
yeah. I was so like I said like back then, Shrita was hustling too, like just not the
Okay.
same way like
Yeah,
we
yeah,
was
yeah.
hustling. So
Yeah.
she was like that was in the early days of her like daycare because she had a daycare business for a while. So she was
Dang.
yeah. So at that point, she was babysitting like three kids from my mom's church at my parents' house.
Oh, wow.
Like, and so I remember like I had just like I just got back over there from somewhere. These kids are in the house, you know what I mean? Like we're just going through the daily routine, and then the house just starts shaking.
Wow.
Like I said, and that was when my mom lived over off Spanaway Loop Road,
Okay.
over there in
Yep,
this
yep.
neighborhood by Alex and Junior James.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so the house just starts shaking, and I like, is
Yeah.
this an earthquake? I just remember standing in a doorway. So I'm standing in
Yeah.
one
That's what
doorway
they
holding
taught us.
two kids next to me.
Wow.
Shrita's in the other doorway holding one kid, and we're just like, what now? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember that day vividly.
Oh, man, speaking of 2001, do you remember and where were you at for 9/11? Because that's
9/11,
another day that everybody kind of
big
remembers
day.
that I'm
Yeah,
always
I
yeah.
remember. We
Yeah.
were, that was when Shrita was going to TCC, and we
Okay.
lived across the street, Lakeside Landing Apartments.
Okay. From
So
TCC?
yep, right across the
Nice.
street. And so
Nice.
I remember like Shrita was up getting ready for school. I didn't have a job. I was just lounging.
Yep.
Again, that was hustling days. And so I just remember our phone rang, the house phone rang, and it was my mom, and she was like, they blew up the towers. I'm half asleep. I'm like, what do you mean they blew up the towers? So I turned on the TV, and that's when you see like the footage of the planes going into the towers, and then whatever the time frame was later, you hear the plane hit the Pentagon. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
crazy.
I just saw like I was like half asleep. I didn't know what she was talking about.
I mean, for us too, because for us that was class of 98, most of us turned 21 that year. You had just turned 21 the month before. James's birthday is September 17th, and and my birthday was in June, so I had only been 21 for like 3 months, but we had a trip to Vegas planned. We were like, are we still going to be able to go on this trip? And then what's funny is we did end up going, and but when we got there, everything was empty. Vegas was empty. Like there was no, and then most of the people that were in Vegas had driven over from LA. And so almost all the people that we talked to, when we told them that we flew, because I flew in on I think I flew in right in on James's birthday. Him and Greg Greg and Nalder were already there. They were already in Vegas, like kicking it, right? And so, because Nalder's birthday is in September too, so they were already there. And everybody we talked to when we said that we flew in, they were like, "Dude, you guys are so crazy! Like, I'm so like, you guys aren't scared." And we're also like, man, we're also kind of broke, so it's like we don't want to have that money go to waste.
Can't waste
Yeah,
it. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I mean, we're only 21, and we don't want to waste the trip. And so, yeah, we figured, because that was crazy when we got to when I got to the airport. I remember that it's the first time I seen armed guards in the lobby in the check-in, and I was like, and they literally opened up everything. They opened up all your luggage and stuff. I was just like, this is crazy. That's the only time I've ever seen that. And then yeah, and then obviously, I don't know if people remember that you used to be able to go all the way to the gate and like say goodbye to people, right? And then
Yeah.
now, there's no way you could do that now. So yeah, it's
Because
crazy.
I remember when I was younger, if my dad would fly somewhere, yeah, like we'd drop him off at the airport, and there
Go
was
all the
I mean, was there like the security TSA? Like, were we doing
Nuh-uh,
that
there
back then?
wasn't. They wasn't.
Like, I don't
You could
remember that.
literally
I
just
just
no
we
walk
watch
to the
him
gate.
get onto the gate. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and then you take the trip all the way back to the car, right? But yeah, I mean, we used to have going away things and stuff like that all the time, like at the gate, and so yeah, that's why yeah, man, it's kind of a trip, but yeah. So back to Missouri. How long were you in Missouri for?
long enough to experience that tornado and get out of there.
Yeah. Oh, you
Yeah,
left
like
right after that,
yeah,
kind of.
like couple months after. Like I think I just wait. We just waited for our lease. We're like, we ain't really signing the lease on the house here, and that
Yeah,
was like
yeah,
in the middle of Tornado Alley. And then like,
yeah.
so my family is from Oklahoma, so we like had dealt with them. Like tornadoes weren't new to us at the time, but
That's crazy.
being that we had moved to Washington at a younger age, we didn't experience tornadoes as much as the rest of my family down there.
Exactly.
But yeah, I was
We
like,
got
nope.
earthquakes.
Yeah, I was like, we
Yeah.
got rain. That's our Mother Nature's rain.
Yeah.
And so that yeah, so that's when we moved back to Texas. So that was technically we lived in Texas in two stints.
Okay.
That's when we moved back to Texas. That's when I was tired of construction work type stuff. Like when we lived in Missouri, I like Sharita was doing. That was when she full-fledged daycare. She didn't have a regular job. She worked for herself. And
Yeah.
then I was just like, I worked at a call center and server room,
I remember that.
and yeah. And then I was detailing. I had me and a friend of mine. His name was Brian Pink.
Okay.
We had a contract with the post office,
Okay.
and we used to detail all the post office trucks in my garage at my house.
Oh,
As
wow.
Sharita's doing the daycare in the house, I'm like going back and forth all day, bringing like
In the
mail
garage.
trucks in the
Wow.
garage. And it was a
That's a
super easy one, like
great
because I had worked
contract to
at Mallon
have.
Ford. Like, yeah, that
Yeah.
was a good one. So I was doing that, and yeah, we were just like, yeah, I'm tired of doing like real like back then. I was like, I'm tired of doing hard labor. I was like, man, I was like this hard labor. I'm not doing hard labor. So that's when I started. I got this server room experience from Missouri. Let me apply for an IT job for the company Blackboard, which most
Okay.
people, I didn't know it at the time, but most of our friends who went to college already knew what Blackboard was. And
I don't
so
know what that is.
for people our age, well, Blackboard is still around, but it was like the college professors in like the infancy stage of like online schooling and posting like
Okay.
assignments online for kids. The students go to the website, then they
Gotcha.
upload back to the website. I was doing IT for that company, Blackboard.
Tight. Okay.
Like
Yep.
I lucked into that job because even when I was working in a server before, like I
Yeah.
was just like kind of like bullshit my way through because remember my dad was into computers,
Yep.
so
Yep.
I've been
Yep.
around computers forever. So I guess I picked up enough so I could fake it. I ain't have no college, no
Yeah.
kind of IT degrees, nothing like that. But
I
I
mean,
was like one of the top IT persons for
that's dope.
years at Blackboard. Yeah,
That's dope. I think that's
and
half
so
the people out there in the working industry. I think a lot of people have to sort of embellish their accomplishments to get the job that they want and then try to perform at the level where nobody really checks their background. I
yeah,
bet that's just kind of what you have to do. It's just the market is so competitive out there. So then every year there's new graduates, and these kids have all these things they're accomplishing while they're in high school and college and all this stuff. So yeah,
and then
man, it's
every year
just
they
crazy.
graduate, they even smarter than the last class that came out.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. So then you went back to Texas.
Yep, back to Texas, did IT for a little while.
Oh, so that's what you were doing in Texas, IT.
Yeah, yeah.
Dope.
So that's what that was when we went back. Like I said, I was just piggybacking off of that server room experience I got in Missouri.
Gotcha.
And so
Okay.
yeah, that's when I started like doing like full fledged IT. That was fun, but man, like I ended up back in them server rooms, and that just wasn't a
Yeah.
vibe for me. Being in that cold server room, just looking
Yeah.
at lights and
Yeah.
plugging. Hey, I did like cable management though. I did like making my wires look all clean and making my racks look better than the other people's racks.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So that around that time, like, the kids are in school.
Those servers are crazy heavy. I
Yeah,
had a couple stints where I worked at Microsoft, but doing labor randomly. Like we had to move servers around. Those were the worst days because they
yeah.
are so ridiculously heavy that I mean
And a
we all
little awkward. Yeah,
they're like sharp and there's parts of it that's like sharp, so it's there they were a pain. So like because we would stack them up and then have to like
yeah. So
shrink
you
wrap
know,
it so that they don't move.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. It's like, so I
yeah.
couldn't imagine being around the room with just that, with just service. Like,
There's this hum. There's this hum that they got after so long. You'll be watching movies, and we'll be doing whatever to kill the time in between. And that's only when we have to do the night shift. But we
yeah,
would switch back and forth. Sometimes we do the day shift, where
yeah.
we're more like a desktop support. So like doing tickets and like closing tickets for like the executives of Blackboard.
Okay.
So yeah, but yeah, that wasn't. I think I went into that field because that was around the time my dad passed away,
Yeah.
and so in my head I felt like I was honoring my dad.
I can see that.
Really, that's the
I can
only
see that.
reason I got into that kind of server room like
Yep.
IT.
Yep.
And then again, I just because I was my dad's son, I was good
Yeah.
at it,
Yeah.
and that's when I realized it wasn't really for me. The kids are in school. I knew people working for Boeing and doing construction back
Yep.
in Washington. People we
Yeah.
went to school with making a lot of money at Boeing,
Yep.
making a
Yep.
lot of money in this same like electrical industry that I was good at.
Yeah.
And so that was I want to say 2000 and yeah. So man, so many
It's
collaborating stories here. Everything intertwines
for
because
sure.
when we moved back,
I saw
it
you.
was it was the day we drove. We made a trip of it. We took the kids to Yellowstone. We drove through the Rockies. We towed a car. We had a U-Haul. We got hotels. My mom and my brother were with us. We turned it into like a National Lampoon's Family Vacation.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
so yeah,
That's
so
good,
when
man.
we got
Every time
back,
you travel, I love it. Like you guys just take your time, and it's like, man, this isn't
yeah,
going to be a
yeah,
crazy trip where we're trying to like burn through the rubber and like get there super fast or anything. No, you're just going to enjoy your time,
yeah,
stay at
yeah.
some great
See the
places,
country.
see the
Yep,
yeah, and it's beautiful. That drive is beautiful, to be honest. I'm
yeah,
probably going to come back and do one of those for sure. I want to because there's so much I love driving through the country. So it's yeah, it's I think it's a good
yeah,
time. But
yeah.
yeah,
It's a good time. Yeah.
yeah,
And so like when the day we hit Washington State
yes,
was the same day James was getting married.
yes,
And I didn't know that until I had talked to him a couple of days later, and I was like, "Damn! If I had got to, I was like, if I had got to town a couple of days earlier, I would have
yeah,
crashed that wedding. Like I would have
yeah.
been there." And
I,
then,
I think I saw you on that day you got back. We met up
yeah,
somewhere. We met up at like
I think
in
we have a
South
picture.
Hill.
Yeah,
We do
was
have
it
a
at the
picture.
mall? Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
it
a
was at the
pictures.
mall.
Hey, there's a
It
picture
was
out
at
there.
the mall.
Hey, somewhere on the interwebs.
No, I got it. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's yeah, no, we definitely yeah, because that was so random. Because I think I was trying to get you to come, but you were like, dude, yeah, it was just like so last minute. It was, I'm like trying to look for that now, but yeah, it's funny.
yeah. We got a picture because yeah, like I would have
2015
been at that wedding. Yeah, so 15
for
was that
sure.
year. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then yeah, so I was like, somehow I think probably because it was probably you that told me about the wedding when I met up with you. And then like I ended up like connected with James on some like congratulations type shit. And then he was asking what I'm gonna do. I was like, well, I'm about to go apply for IT at Bowen. And then he was like, yo, you're gonna go on a wait list. You should come to Verizon. And I was like, I mean, I'll apply at Verizon too. So this is 2015. I've been at Verizon ever since. I've been at Verizon like
dang,
yeah, going on 10 years now.
that's
And it's cause
crazy
hey, and that's that connection right there, cause that's Swayside connections. Like
for
and
sure.
like I was appreciative to James, and then me and James stayed in contact. Actually, another episode 1, episode 2 connection. James is my third daughter's godfather.
That's
Yeah,
what's up.
yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Like he was
I
at
mean,
like yeah, they threw it like yeah, he's been around the whole time.
feel free to talk about your kids, right? I mean, this is a good time. What are their ages? You can disclose their names if you want to or don't want to. It's up to you.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
how old are your kids now?
So my oldest, that's Alani. She just turned 20 in December. Like she's in her
I just
second
got
year
done
at Central.
telling. Oh,
Yeah,
see, that's what I mean, man. You guys, we have friends like you guys have kids that are adults now. That's
yeah,
crazy. But
yeah,
that's what happens when you graduate 27 years ago. So that's tight.
yeah. That's what
Okay.
happened 27 years ago. So yeah, so she's 20, just turned 20 in December. My middle daughter, her name's Katara.
Okay.
Hey, and I had to fight for that name because if you remember, my dad, I've always been into like comic books, and
Okay.
like that just kind of molded into like anime and everything. So, but
Yeah.
like yeah, I got that name Katara from the last Airbender.
Time flies.
Time flies. So yes, but I had to fight for that name because I wanted my kids to have unique names. I always didn't like my name. I mean, I like my name because it was passed down from my dad and my grandpa's, and it's got
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
There are technically 8 John Alexanders,
Wow.
but at some point halfway through, they added Corey as a middle name. So it kind of started that. It's kind of started it over. And so I have
Okay.
a grandpa, like he's John Corey Alexander Sr.
Okay.
That's my great grandpa. My dad's dad was John Corey Alexander Jr. And so my dad is just John Alexander, and I'm the second. So I always liked my name for that aspect, but I'm like, damn, my name is
That brought
boring.
hey, do you remember we we walked together at graduation? Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. Hey,
Don't
you remember what
do
I
you,
did?
that's why I remember that I walked with you because of what you did.
Yeah.
Because Corey had another he wore two gowns to the graduation, and then before we walked, he took one off, and then underneath it, tell him what you had.
I went and got my name embroidered on the back of my actual robe. So it
Yeah,
said Alexander on the back of my robe.
tight. I just thought that was a tight move. I was like, dang, that's tight that ended up looking like that.
Yep. And the no limit salute to the teachers.
Yeah.
And I was out.
That's hilarious too, because it's funny that you did that act, that bold act of, of doing that, because I was like, man, I was kind of on the opposite. I spoke at graduation, and then, but the principal made me change my speech. He made me change my speech because he thought it was a little too provocative, I guess, for the crowd or whatever. But yeah. And so I'm
That's
just kind
whack.
of mad
That's
that I did.
whack.
I know. I know. I gave in. And I was like,
Hey,
now
we
looking
were
back,
we were what? We were like 17 at the time.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
17.
like
Yeah, we both were.
we weren't
Yeah,
even 18 yet.
we weren't.
We weren't
Yeah,
even 18 when we graduated.
it's crazy. Yeah, so that's what it's like. It's funny. Yeah, man. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you
I
did
was gonna
like,
ask if you remember we walked together. I was gonna
yeah,
ask if you remembered
absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, you made the Alexanders proud that day, man. When you ripped that, I was like, I was very jealous. I was like, that's so tight. I
Yeah.
was like, that's
And you
tight.
know me, I always gotta be different. I was
Yeah,
gonna
I
try to
mean,
stand out.
for sure, for sure, for sure. That's dope. And now you've been in Washington all these years, man. It's just, it's good. It's funny. We were also talking before the episode, just the last time we had met up, the last time I had seen you. Do you remember that?
Was that when we were at Nalders?
No, no. Oh,
So
no, 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 no.
yeah, yeah,
I didn't job on the. I was like, oh, that's
yeah, yeah.
all of us are talking smack about you already. So, I mean,
Hey, you already know. You already
yeah,
know.
exactly.
That's my dog though. Like I call like if I see him in the street, you'll hear hey cuzzo from like hey, you know them Nalders are loud too.
And that's what's so funny about him is so many people have stories with him. He had just ran into Brian Slater at Costco, and those two made a big ass scene in Costco, just saying
Oh
hello to each
man,
other.
yeah, yeah.
So I can only imagine what happened in that interactions. Yeah, that's why it's so funny.
That would have been a fun one to see.
And another random time that I was working for a campaign. I can't remember, it was 98 or 2000. I think it might have been 2000, but there was a time I was doorbelling in Tacoma, and I think you drove by me while I was walking on the streets, and I think you yelled out. It was like the most random thing that you yelled out. You were like, "Who let the dogs out?" I was like, and my coworkers are looking at me like, "Do you know that dude?" And I was like, "Man, I love that dude. Yeah, I went to high school
Yeah.
with him." And it was just like,
Hey, was that? I think was I in the Accord or was I in the Regal?
I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
But I
but I
mean,
do
it's like
remember that. Like when you
you
say it,
did.
I remember that. Yeah,
It was just such a random moment. And it was like, I mean, you didn't. It's not like you slowed down or anything either. You just kind of went the flow of traffic, and you just yelled that out the window, and then checked up the deuces, and then I checked up mine, and then I was just like,
yeah.
well, yeah, that's
I
Corey
do
right
remember
there.
that.
Yeah, that's why it's so funny. No, but the last time, you don't remember the last time? So the last time I met up with you, what you call it? Kamala Harris was in Seattle. And because if we were on our way to, where were
The
we going?
Kraken game.
We
We're
are
going to
going
the
to
Kraken game.
shout out to
Hey,
Alan Balasundrum.
Alan Balasandrum.
He hooked us
Yeah,
up with
yeah.
tickets to the Kraken game. And then I was staying in South Seattle with some good friends, and Corey swooped me up. Oh yeah, we had a quick session, and
Hey, we had a good session.
we had a great session.
Hey, you had a great session.
Great session. Yeah, because my boy Ryan came, kicked it too. And it's funny, we live so close. I mean, not close, but I mean, we're already in Seattle. And so that trip should usually take, if you just go on the freeway like we did, that trip should probably take 15 to 20 minutes. 20 minutes,
Hmm.
no traffic whatsoever. If you go the back roads, it'll probably take 25 minutes to 30 minutes, right? Man, it took us like an hour plus because we got
Yeah,
on the freeway, and then it was like traffic. And it was all because Kamala Harris happened to be in town. The vice president was in town for something, and we missed the whole first period. There's only 3 periods in a hockey game, and we missed that whole first period. And I was just like, dude, I messed that up. That was my bad, because I know Seattle way better than you do.
I don't know Seattle.
Exactly. And I know it really well. And I was so pissed that we should have if we literally took the back roads, we would have been there half an hour, no problem, even with all the stops that were going on. But the fact that we jumped on I-5 and tried to go through I-5.
Yeah, because remember they had exits blocked off,
Yes, that's
full
what killed
police
us.
presence at all the exits to where we had
That's
to go.
what killed us.
I remember
Yes.
we ended up just parking somewhere. I remember we just parked somewhere.
That's
but
right.
hey,
We
you
parked
knew
somewhere
where
in
we
downtown.
were at. You were like, hold on. Since we're right here, let me go in here and get a slice real quick. And you got a slice of pizza. I was like, damn. But then we hopped on the train, rode the train to the stadium.
Yep.
I was like,
we had to do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I know where your car's at. I was like, I know where your car's at. I know downtown so well. So just from all the years running around in Seattle, it's like, God. But I was just most pissed because you shouldn't even have had to do that. There was way better places. We should have got there way faster. But
that's how it was destined to be. That was how it was supposed to be. Because man, that was like,
for sure.
I mean, we had to park and walk through Seattle, man. That shit was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a part of that night. Without that night still would have been fun. It still would have been fun.
That's so true, actually.
You know what I'm saying? We had that fun that night.
It made the podcast.
Because we were so because like I said, the session we had before we left was wild.
So
I just remember boy just kept pulling out packs and was like, hey,
and then
y'all ain't tried these.
It's funny, but I know, man. I love that dude too, man. Shout out to my guy Ryan, man. That dude is. What's funny is when we had another session after. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We had another session after, and then but it was so late. He didn't want to. He was just so tired, but he was so mad because he wanted to kick it more too. So it's just
we're trying not to bother the family, and it was right when I just dropped you back off, and it was already late at the time, but
it was.
But I remember he was like, no, we can do it. I was like, I remember you were like,
man,
that was a good time.
That's what I mean. That's why I love doing this podcast, because I don't know. I have still wonder who this will appeal to, but it's I love just bringing up old stories and reminiscing, catching up, and hearing how you. Oh, how old's your youngest? Did you say that one already,
8.
or was I zoning out?
I was going to double back because I can't forget her.
But you already knew. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. I was like, because that's awesome.
No, you're good. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's 8. Yeah, that's John A. At that point, hey, she's so I got 3 girls. Remember, James said he had 3 boys. I got 3 girls.
Boys, yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's when John A came around. We named her John A. Cecilia Alexander, so she got my initials. Hey, because I figure at this point,
JC,
if I don't have unless I hit the lottery and become a multi-millionaire, I think my baby making days are done. I told, so we're I gotta have at least one of my kids that has my same exact initials, and so we named her John A. That's John, but kind of the girl version, John A.
Yep.
My grandpa, who passed away a couple years ago, his name was Cecil, so her middle name is Cecilia, and then Alexander. So that's why we call her Cecil too. We're Sharita. Really? They're a little bit more reserved, a little bit more kind of they care more about what people think. Not Cece. Hey, she takes after me. She's funny. I got a lot of crazy stories about that little one.
That's hilarious. Let's screen share something with you because I just found it. I'm gonna share my screen with you. So this is in 2015. Can you see that bad boy right there?
It's loading something. Yeah. Yep. Hey, see.
That was 2015. 10 years ago.
Yep. South Hill Mall. Yep. Hey, and so here's the thing, how Like, how did that end up happening? I don't even remember how. Like, we ended up like linking up, and like, look, I still got baby dreads back then. Like, I had just got my locks twisted back then.
I don't know how it. I think I don't know what happened. To be honest, I I feel like you know me. I'm random. My
Random.
Spidey sense was on when I was like, man, it feels like Corey Alexander's back in the state of Washington or something. I don't know. It was just something random.
Something.
Or I
Yeah.
think I might have been trying to get you to come to the wedding too, because I think the wedding was like literally that next day or something like that day. I think it was one of
Yeah.
those because it was, yeah, man, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah. Because I literally like I have pictures with my mom and my brother with the same shirt on. Like, I was like, we literally had got in that day. I think
Yeah.
that was crazy. Like, and I
Okay.
don't even know how.
Okay. I'm about to share some other stuff with you too. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Yep. Let's go.
This is kind of fun doing this. So yeah, and this is from our senior year video yearbook, 98. Yeah, man. I can't play the sound because there goes you and Sharita and some rest of the seniors. And then yeah, man, it's just it's crazy when I just did a little
Damn. All right,
research
hold
and
on.
stuff.
Pause that. Pause. Hey,
Okay,
pause
here
it right there.
you gotta watch here.
Damn. Hey, I saw that. I saw a young thug right there.
What jersey was that?
Allen
What jersey
Iverson.
was that?
I was like Allen Iverson.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That AI, the real AI.
Yep, the
You and
real AI.
Mickey. Look at y'all.
Look at Schmidt.
Look at y'all. Look at y'all.
Yeah.
And then
Hey,
Duke.
what was?
Duke in the
Hey,
back.
we're about. Yeah, I'll say, was that Duke? I couldn't tell that was Duke or Simba.
Yeah, no, that's Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just play a little bit more of this. This is just funny too, because it's like, were you
Yeah.
gonna say something before you?
I can't remember. I saw myself and I forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
then
man, that's
yeah,
crazy. Okay.
that was crazy.
Is that Eugene?
That's why it's like, man, yeah,
Camping,
snow,
Crippin, Travis, Snow. Hey, so
yeah,
that's crazy because one of the clips right before this, when it showed like David Harrell and Marcus Moody, they were on the stoop with Londale. Rest in peace. That was my boy right there, man. I love Londale. And then that's crazy that that last one had Travis in it.
yeah.
Look, there he is. That's my guy. There he is.
My bad.
Oh, wait, it was
Okay,
Robert.
are you? Yeah. You might be a little bit on delay here, but can you tell me what are we doing here? It looks like you're interviewing me in this scene coming up, and it looks kind of racist.
Shit,
What are we doing?
hey, go back. What was that? Was that a joust or something? Was that something we had to do for the football team?
I don't know, but you're obviously interviewing me, and I don't know. All I gotta say is it looks quite offensive, though.
Hey,
But
it does look a little offensive. Hey, but this was the '90s. Man. Nobody was offended in the '90s.
true that, man. Yeah,
Wow.
that's so true. Yeah, it was. But
Hey,
I
that had to
saw
have been
that. I was
game
like,
day. That had to have been a game day, huh?
I think so because right after, like, we did a play or like the offense was on the court and they ran like a fake play or something like that. So
Yep,
yeah, that was pretty funny when I saw that.
yeah, yep. Good time.
Yeah, and this is another good one that I saw. And this is why, man, it's so.
Yay, he's a hottie. Well, first, you want to go first?
No,
oh, okay, I'll go first. Okay, first at the beginning of the year, I was really partial to Tim Armitage.
Okay.
The Rock.
Sharita Sargent.
Who have you had
Consistency.
a crush on? He's
Consistency, bro. You are consistent. You are consistent.
Hey, I try to do
What were
what
you
I
gonna
could do.
say?
I was gonna say that was Tim. I thought
Hey,
was that Tim Armitage too? Yeah. Hey, you
that
guys
was
are
Tim
right though.
Armitage with you.
Tim was a funny ass dude, man. I
I
remember
thought
Tim
he
having
won
some good
funniest senior
funnies.
year.
Yeah, I was gonna say we like.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
thought he
I'm
won.
not gonna doubt James, but like James will remember that better than I would.
Yeah,
But I like Tim was a funny ass dude.
yeah,
Gee.
yeah.
Yeah. Tim was a funny
Okay,
dude.
I
I
have
remember you
another
guys said
clip.
that. I was like,
This
yo,
is another. Okay, be ready for this one. You can still see my screen, right?
yep, I can still see it.
Happy mat hunting.
Jay Thomas, yesterday Mr. Josephs had some trite words for you.
He sure did.
And if I can remember, you did dunk on him on the last student staff game.
I did?
Yes, you did. Now,
Well, I know I dunked, but I didn't. If he was there, I didn't notice him.
There's no pain in this dojo. You don't sit there.
have any last words for the staff team?
Make sure to bring your icy hot. These guys are kind of old.
Going down on April 3rd.
Oh man. Oh man. That's funny.
This is good. This is so good.
Yeah.
It
Hey,
is
that's funny. Like, hey, so many like,
Like,
hey,
you got-
like, yeah, so many like common like I'm interviewing you, you was interviewing us. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we were pretty active. That last year. So
Yeah.
we just happened to be around a lot. This is my last clip right here.
Jiggy with it. Basically, getting jiggy with it is doing anything you want. So if I was to get jiggy with it right now, take this right there, or like
Thank you.
and then on my leg,
What?
it's kind of still gonna get.
Hey, what was I wearing?
That's
Would you repeat the question?
Hey, I had the exhibit
you had a
braids
little
with the
sweater
sweater
vest.
vest on. Like, like, hey,
Yes, a
hey,
little
the
exhibit
guns was
braids.
pumping though. Oh man. Hey, do you remember?
Yeah.
Like, hey, we got a classic line. Like every year at track season, you know where I'm going, right? Remember? Like we would be like me and you. Like we would always have this conversation every year. It'll be like the first day of track, and I'll be like, "Hey,
Oh, yeah.
you going out today?"
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, no, I might not go out today." Like we had that. I swear we had that conversation for 10th, 11th, and
And
12th grade.
I was like, man, we just need to hold out till picture day. Once we get in the pictures for the track, then we don't have to go no more.
Yep. I never made it to picture
Oh,
day.
man.
I never made it to picture
Yeah,
day.
I don't
I don't know why,
I
man.
don't
I just
think I
couldn't
did
do it.
either.
Yeah.
I don't think I could either. Yeah. Every event I tried to do in track, I would get smoked. I was like, man, I can't compete with the athletes in my age in track, just straight track events. I was like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But
It was like
it
boring
was
sitting
that time
around
though.
all
It was
day.
like, yeah, exactly. It was just fun being around the track people though. That's why we like were like, are you gonna go? Or yeah, man. I mean, what was your favorite class back then?
Oh, my favorite class, not counting PE.
Yeah.
Yeah, PE don't count.
I mean, you can count PE. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
I mean,
I
if that
no,
was your
no,
favorite.
like because that one was fun because we were like playing like sports and games and everything, and so that one don't
Yeah.
count. That's his default favorite. But I would have to
Yeah.
say, man, Mr. Hoseth's world history class, man.
Wow.
Like, yeah,
That's
hey,
so
that was
funny.
a fun class. That was a fun class.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I wasn't even in it, but I still participated in it
Yeah.
on random occasion. So you were in that class with James and them too, right? Was James in there with you? Were you in
Yeah.
that same class, or were
No,
you
I
a
don't
different
think I was in
period?
the same one. I think I had him like fourth period. I think
See, yeah,
Devin was in my class. I think Terrence Tucker was in there. And I can't remember, man. That was so long ago.
that's
But
true.
no, I
That's
wasn't in
true.
the same one with James. I remember Jared
But
Medeiros
he said
was in there.
See, he said Devin was in his class, so that makes me think you guys might have been in the same
Might
class.
have been in the same class. Could have
Yeah.
been.
Was Mickey in your class?
Yep.
Was Mickey in your class? He mentioned
Yep.
Mickey being
was,
in it.
Yep.
You
Mickey
guys
was
might have
in
been.
that class too. Yeah. Hey,
You
that
guys
was
might
the
have
same
been in the
class.
same class.
Yep. Because yeah,
Man,
Jared.
that's
Like I
funny.
said, Jared
That's
was
funny.
in there with us. I want to say Darius was in there too.
Oh, yeah. What about, was Jay Thomas in there? I think he said Jay Thomas might have been in that class too. I don't know.
I'm
It's
pretty
just
sure
crazy.
Jay was in there because I remember a lot of us from the football team.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to be in that class because I think so. When we took U.S. history, it would have been our junior year. And so I think, like I said, I think I tried to sign up for Jose's class, and Wright saw me and was like, he already put me down for a period already. And I was just like, oh, well, I guess I'm
I
taking
guess I'm
Miss
there.
Wright's class. Yeah, I guess I'm there. So it was like, because I think, man, I really wanted to be in that class. Yeah, man, that goes to show like how awesome of a teacher he was, the type of environment that he created for the students and stuff. So I think I might
Absolutely.
try to have him on too. I think I might
Hey,
try to have
that'll
him
be
on.
wild. Hey, that'll be fun. That'll be dope.
Yeah. And like,
Hey,
but it's
I
hard
swore
too, because
like
I get it. As a teacher, it's hard to kind of remember like 27. He's been a teacher for 27 years. So it's like,
a
hey,
lot
do
of
you
people
remember
to
that
remember.
one year? Yeah, but I think we had so many characters in our year when we
Uh-huh.
were there that I think he would be able to obviously remember like me and you,
And those
obviously.
were some of his first years of teaching. 'Cause remember, he
So
wasn't
true.
that much
Yeah.
older than us back then. Like when he was our basketball coach, like I think he was only like 24 or 25 years old. Like
That's
so
crazy. Yeah.
yeah, so those were some of his like first years out of like college, like actually like teaching. So I feel
Yeah.
like our especially our '98 class and the basketball team and the football team, like we all hold like a special place because we're like some of his like I can't remember how many years he was teaching before that, but I know the years before that weren't as lit as our year.
Yeah, no, for real. That's why like, man, this is like this whole podcast is sort of a gift, not only to, so, one of the reasons why I want to do it, because when you search Spanaway in YouTube, man, you see all the news, like the violent news. It's like homicide here and like carjacking here and just like, but I'm like, man, like Spanaway is so much more than just the random, like every town has crimes. So it's like,
Yeah,
there
exactly.
there should be more things to see about people from Spanaway than just all these violent crimes and stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
And
why
I
that's
think it's
partly
just
why I
because
want to do
like
this.
yeah, Spanaway was man like where we were located, like being close to the bay. And then,
Yeah,
Tacoma wasn't too far away, and Lakewood wasn't far away. Like, there was always like some influence, like something from like all the surrounding areas. That kind of like sometimes it's like met up in Spanaway, and then it just like yeah, I never understood why Spanaway got like a bad rap. You know what I mean? Like maybe
yeah,
that's because we grew up there, but like I remember like people talking like I knew me like I was like I had a lot of Tacoma ties, Lakewood ties. They would always like be like, "Oh, you went to Spanaway Lake." I'm like, "You went to Lincoln, like you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like you went to Lakes, you
But
went
what
to
would they
Clover
say?
Park, like
What were they saying about Spanaway?
oh, they're like, oh man, Spanaway's crazy. They're like, man, you gotta be careful out in Spanaway. You're gonna get your car stolen. Like that was especially
No
when we
way.
started driving. Like when we were like first driving, and people were like, we were putting like the money we had into our cars. Like they'd be
Yeah,
like, "Oh yeah, don't leave your car in Spanaway overnight. Like if you're going to visit someone in Spanaway, make sure like lock your car or take your face off your radio." Where they were talking about, yeah, you'll get shot in Spanaway. I'm like, man, you get shot anywhere. Like I didn't feel like we had more
yeah.
like shootings and all that than like other neighborhoods like Tacoma and Lakewood. Like compared to like that,
Well,
like yeah,
exactly. I thought that the Puyallup schools looked at us like that. That's how because when we looked at the Puyallup and like Sumner and like that area of schools, and you can maybe even include Bethel, like I felt like they looked at us like we were like we were thugs or kind of ghetto, right? And then I
huh,
always thought that the Lakewood Tacoma schools thought we were kind of preppy, that we were like the prep. So I always felt like we were kind of in the middle. Like we didn't have enough street credit for the Tacoma schools, and then we were like, so I felt like we were too preppy for them, but we weren't preppy enough for like the Puyallup Graham schools either. So I just felt like we were like that nice little mix of in between. We were everything. We had cowboys, preppy dudes, gangsters. We were just everything.
We
We
had
were
the
just that
Islanders, you know what I mean?
island.
Yeah,
Exactly. We had
yeah,
everything at our school. So that's what made us special to me. And especially that time that we grew up in that era. I'm so thankful that I got to meet all the friends that I met back then during that time and like share memories with. And so, cause I feel like, man, we're just all special like that, So me and James had this debate, like who were the funniest people to you when you were when we were in school?
man, funny people. I'm trying to think. I feel like everybody in their own way was kind of funny. Like
Everybody.
everybody,
That's exactly what I said.
like most of the people like we clicked up with, or like was like in a circle that we ran with, was kind of funny. Like when I think
Yeah.
of funny, man, like Tim Armitage, I just feel like, man, Tim always had like something super witty to say that was funny.
Stayed ready funny.
Like he
Yeah.
always had something to say. Like he even was like witty with adult. You know what I mean? Like yeah, Tim. And you mentioned
I brought
this
you
person
up on the
earlier.
last one. I was like, man, because you always made me laugh. Yeah. Who?
I always, I never felt like I was being funny. I remember people would tell me, "Hey, I think in junior high, one of the years I got most likely to make you laugh," and I didn't understand why.
Oh, for real?
Because I was like, man, I don't really be. I might say some funny things, but I'm not really trying to make people laugh. So, like, I never thought of myself as funny.
I mean, I just
But
think
like
in those
people
clips,
say that now.
just that getting jiggy with it clip, that's a pretty funny clip. Like not just you taking the phone, like taking the mic, I mean, and then actually doing the dance with it, So I don't know, man. I just feel like you were just
Yeah.
like you cracked me up all the time, man. So it was like, yeah. And then I like other names that are random, like people like I feel like Josh Arith was pretty funny too. Like just random people,
Josh
like
Harris was
just
funny. Brian
yeah.
Slater. Hey, bro.
Slater, yes, 1,000%,
Hey,
1,000%. He's coming on
he
for
have
sure. He'll be
funnies
on this.
every day. Yeah.
He'll be on this show for sure. Me and him. I mean, we used to rap battle via notebook during one of our classes, like literally every day, like just talking mad smack, but making it rhyme. And like what I would do to find that stupid notebook that we were just talking smack in back and forth, because it's crazy. Like that's why it's so funny. I can't wait to have him on. He's gonna be he's gonna be fun to interview, just because like you said, he's another dude that's just super funny. What I like about him is that he, even back then, he just didn't care, and he would
Nope,
he would
he did not.
he would just, like, what most people would think would be corny, he leaned into that. He was like, I mean, that's me, and then just lean into just him being himself. And so that's what I love about that dude. And so, yeah, no, you're right. That's what I mean. I try to tell people, and like, it's hard to explain because everybody's funny in like all these different ways. And like for some people it's physical, some people it's witty, some people it's situational. But yeah, it's dope. So that's why I'm so like, I love doing like this interview. Just doing it with you got me hyped. Like just when you said I got dibs on episode 2, I was like, like all these, you can't fake this type of energy that we have, and like, just the excitement we have just catching up is like, man, this is so tight. I get to catch up with my friends and like see how they're doing, and it's like, it's so good.
Yeah, but yeah, that's like I was saying before. Like, man, like if you think about it, go back to like we always have a good time, especially like me and you specifically. Like, there's never been a time where we were together and it wasn't a good time. You feel me?
That's true. That's so true. Yeah. That's so true. That's why it's like, man, and this is what's tight. Like if somebody younger is watching this, I don't know why you'd be watching this. Maybe it's like History Channel to you, but it's possible that you can have friends where every time you meet up, it gets funner every time. Like as
Yeah.
life goes on, and I feel like every time it's been getting funner and funner. Every time we hang out, it's like
Yeah.
we'll experience something new or do something, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Hey,
what I love about. Yeah,
it's life, and,
yeah,
and I
it's
love it.
life.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
same. And like we're not too old for anything, so that's why it's like, I'm trying to prove to the world how funny Spanaway is, and how funny Spanaway people are, and how funny specifically how funny Spanaway millennials are, and that we're a funny group, and I just really
Yeah.
want the world to see how funny we are, and that we're not just a place that homicides happen and violent crimes and all these other things. It's like, no, we're much more than that. So that's why
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I see a
yeah.
lot of these stupid surveys on like Instagram. I don't know who's coming up with these, but they keep talking about the worst high schools in Washington, and they'll
See
be like
those.
the high school with the worst teachers, or like the most like they're always bad lists, but Spanaway Lake High School is always on these
Was on
lists.
the list. Yeah.
I'm
I've
like,
had
yo,
people
how
hit
is
me
that?
up.
Like,
I know. I have people hit me up all the time. Hey, your school made this list. And it's like, you know, most ghettoest school in all of Washington. And it's like, damn, we're number
yeah,
3 or whatever. It's like, how did that happen? It's
yeah,
like,
man, ain't no way, man, ain't no way. I be seeing these.
exactly.
I was like, hey, man,
Like,
somebody's
yeah,
trolling us right now.
how are these surveys being conducted? Like, who are they asking? Like, how is this? Yeah. No, you're right. I'm tired of seeing those. And so that's another reason why it's like, man, we weren't perfect or anything, but man, like I just feel like there's so many of us that are really creative in just everything from like whether it's arts, music, whatever, making videos. I feel like we can all make videos. I feel like we grew up it. And this is another reason why I really like people our age to kind of get into YouTube is just like, man, we're one of the first generations to really start making videos as I showed
Yeah,
highlights of our video yearbook. Like we're natural. We kind of knew what to do around the camera because we were used to like that was when camcorders just kind of started coming out, and we were the first Instagrammers and YouTubers back then
yeah,
before YouTube and Instagram was a thing. So that's why it's like don't get it twisted. Don't let our whole generation come out because like you're gonna see dope videos from a lot of us. That's how
yeah.
I see.
Hey, do you consider us millennials?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I be seeing conflicting information. Like I see ones where they say like the millennials didn't start until 81.
Seen that too.
That's a good debate. We could talk about that another time. That'll be another episode.
Yeah,
We
for
could have
sure, for
people
sure.
on. Hey, whenever you do an episode where you like bring on like multiple people and we can debate that fact. Because I stick to I don't think we're millennials.
For sure. I mean,
We're
any
just the techie.
idea
We're just
for
the
this,
techie
like I
part of
said, this
Gen
is
X.
for sure. This is like I said, this is just literally this is just a random idea Jay Thomas gave me, and I'm just running with it.
Yeah,
Like I was just like, damn, that is a good idea. I think I'm gonna do it. And he's obviously gonna, man. That's why I can't. It's gonna
hey,
be funny because we're all
Jay
gonna.
Thomas was a funny dude. Hey, Jay used to
That's
have
what I
me
said.
dead all
The
the time.
first two people I said, the first two people that I said were funny when James asked me was you, and then second I said him because I feel like you two were just so you two, and I was like, man, I don't know if it's because I have hella inside jokes with you guys, but man, you and Jay always made me crack up. So it's of course I was gonna say you guys. So yeah,
Yeah,
man. That's why it's like it's always good times, man. So okay, I'm gonna go through some of these same questions I asked James.
right.
Unless there's any other things you want to bring up from high school. Did you have like any specific favorite memories from high school, by the way?
Man, like this, like sports was fun for me in high school. Like I can't like, I would
It's
say
funny
like a
that you brought that up.
specific
It's funny that you
like a
brought that up
specific
because
memory. I can't say I have a specific memory. I have a lot of memories of high school. I
nice,
just like high school was
nice.
fun, man. Like it was fun.
Yeah, yeah. I had fun too. You would get heated though at times for sure when it came to sports stuff. So there's a few times where I remember I had to talk you off the ledge, especially when we were playing football. So it was just like, dude, where you were just pissed. And I don't even know what it'd be about, but it's just like I just remember some of those where
Now that you bring that up, I remember one time. Well, this is a fun memory, but this is again another memory of me and you. Remember we had that passing camp at Clover Park, and
I already know where
I
you're
think
going.
the dude from like Gig Harbor, like
Gig
hit
Harbor.
Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they were over there laughing.
Yes.
No, me and Robert were always super close. And like the Gig Harbor dudes over there laughing, man, I was trying to fight the whole football team.
Yes, everybody.
Like Mr. Wright couldn't hold me back.
Yeah.
Like Roback.
Well, I remember I didn't want to hold you back. I wanted you to.
Hey,
I was like,
hey,
dude,
but I remember it was like you and Joey Phillips were the ones that kind of talked me down that day. Like, yeah, because man, like that shit had me like heated. I remember that now. Like,
yeah, man, it's great. That was crazy because he started seizuring and like it was bad. And like the fact that they were talking any type of smack and laughing, giggling, it was like, dude, our guy is having seizures on the turf.
yeah.
And for you to do anything, that's ridiculous, unsportsmanlike conduct if I've ever seen that before.
That's like, yeah,
because
man.
you're right. We all went to the hospital after that. We went to the hospital in Lakewood. I can't remember which one, but yeah, it was just one of those. Yeah, it was just crazy that we had to do that we had to go there. Because yeah, that memory that's like the first time I ever seen somebody have a seizure from like a traumatic event, like that. Like he had hit his
like
head or
snot
something.
Bubbles, like
yeah. Because it was passing league, so we didn't have no helmets, nothing like that, and like he had just collided. It was like an awkward collision, and then and then he was just gone. And then next thing you know, ambulance came out, and then we all just literally just went to the hospital and just kind of chilled there until we found out he was like okay, and then.
Yeah. Remember, he had to miss school we were bringing him his homework at home from school for a little while because he didn't go right back to school.
I think he tried to walk to school one day during that. Like,
yeah,
he wasn't supposed
Robert.
to. Yeah, it is.
That's Robert.
Like I said,
do you remember this? I can't remember what school we were playing. We were at Art Crate Field. We had a lead in the first quarter. I remember you had a crazy hit in that first quarter. Like, I think their running back came through the middle. I remember you had the 42. Like, I remember they came through. You had a crazy hit. But I think you might have got a concussion, too.
I did. That's my first concussion I ever got. I did.
But
because I remember coming back the rest of the game, which that's one of those rules, like, looking back now, like, I don't think I would have been able to play the rest of the game. But I was confused. We played, I think it was either Federal Way or Decatur. It was one of the Federal Way schools. And I remember coming back to the sideline and I was like, how did they score? And then I tell Coach Wright, I don't know what I'm doing. And then Coach Wright's like, if you don't know what you're doing, I'm going to find somebody that knows what they're doing. And I was like, why are you yelling at
back
me?
In. Hey, I remember, like, you were like,
hey, you asked me.
You gave the nice version. You were yelling at everybody. You were like, how did we blow the lead? You were like, when did they score? Like, you were like, when did we let them score? And you was like, that was like, I think you're like, that was when you like were kind of like, we didn't know nothing about concussions and concussion protocols and like the signs of anything back then. But I
do remember there was at least 3 or 4 people in a row that were asking, hey, do you know who I am? On the sideline. Like, that was concussion protocol by just people asking if I remember who they are. And I was getting annoyed because like, of course I know who you are. It's like, I just don't know how they scored,
Hey, but the crazy thing is you played. And that means you was out there like playing in a full contact sport.
Yeah.
Like for 3 quarters, like 2.5 quarters, like with a concussion. Like I
I
remember
saw
that
some
one. I just
research
remember,
about that.
yeah, yeah,
Like, I think it's happened before where people get concussions, but they're still able to function, like do motor functions based off of because of all the repetitions or something like that. Don't quote me. I'm not a doctor, but
yeah,
I've seen
yeah,
something like that, and I was like, man, that kind of makes sense. I remember just kind of operating like they're calling the plays and I'm doing the plays. It's not like I'm like randomly not tackling people. I was actually playing. I mean, I wasn't the best, but I was doing it good enough to still play. So, but yeah, today I would have been done. I would have been done for like 2
yeah,
games. I would have been done that
yeah.
game
You would have
and the
been out.
next game.
Yeah,
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 for sure, for sure.
yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, it's,
That
I
was a
love, man,
wild
it's
one
so
right there.
funny. That was a wild one. That's why I like, yeah, that's so funny because I don't even, and like people that I tell that are going to come on this show. And if you want to come on this show, feel free to reach out to me because like that energy that big Sandman had when he said I got dibs on episode 2, that's exactly the type of energy because just going off of that, I already know like I'm gonna have fun. And so usually if people notice that we're gonna have fun, it's gonna be a dope episode. So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
because just going off of energy, right? So
Like I said, always
but
good
yeah,
energy.
so let's always. And I think that's the other thing about like a lot of Spanaway people is like, man, I think a lot of us have good energy in general. And so that's why I hate seeing people be so negative about us and then like our generation or just people from our area in general. So it's because a lot of good still came out of it. And we'll see that as I interview more of our peers and people that we went to school with. I think we're going to see just like how dope we are and like how dope everybody is. And so that's what I'm excited for.
yeah. That's why I was like, man, it'll be a good look for the town. It'll be a good look for the sweat.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Okay, did you have a favorite song from back then? And then do you have like a favorite or type of music? And then what is that today? So it's like a two-parter.
Okay, so like a favorite song,
Song
like
or group
man,
or
yeah, yeah. I like no, I messed with Brother Lynch back then. Like to me, like back then, like between like '96 and '98, like what I played the most was like the Loaded album by Brother Lynch Home. Like, hey, that album was fire to me.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
listened to everything, majority hip hop, like minority rap, like, but
Yeah.
I like the stuff that wasn't quite as mainstream.
Yeah,
I like the Snoops. Like Snoop's always been one of my favorite artists.
for sure.
But yeah, I like to like the like E40,
Yeah, yeah.
like Brother Lynch Hung, like Mac Dre. Like that
That's
was a
dope.
lot of the like what I listened to back then. Compared to now,
Yeah.
I'm way more eclectic than I was
Okay.
back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I listen to I like well, let me go back just a little bit. I listen to a lot of my dad's music too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
so like our music definitely, but I've always been into like old school music. Like our music is old school now, but I say our
Yeah.
parents' music,
Yep.
like the soul, like a lot of the funk from the like '70s, like the '60s R&B soul,
Yeah.
like I like we like just because my parents always played that around the house. That was what I like that music,
Yeah.
but now I like incorporate that with like the hip hop. Like man, I like country music now. Like I listen to like country music. Like I've listened to country music for like years. That's why I sent that post and got
Wow.
mad this year. They like when Shabuzi didn't win no awards this year. That shit had me mad
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because he had the hottest song out.
Wow.
He had the hottest song this year. How he didn't win one award. And like I listen
Yeah.
to country music, so I know he was like killing the country music charts just like he's killing like the regular pop chart.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, I'm just way more eclectic now. Trying to
That's
think of something
that's
like I just like regular music. Like, hey, a lot of people like didn't like this, but man, that Andre 3000, hey, it was weird and nice at the same time.
when did that come out? See, I
Uh,
don't keep up with music in general. Like the only music I listen to is either old music or a lot of like island reggae, but like a lot of that is old now too, because like a lot of the songs that I liked have been out 10 plus years now. So there's nothing really, I don't really keep up with anything really. So I'm just old, recycled. Like almost everything music wise is like old and recycled.
That brings us to our comfort zone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like the music that we grew up with, like that brings us to a comfort zone. Like we're
for
gonna
sure.
unwind at the end of our day to something that it's gonna make us like relax.
For sure. For
So
sure.
that's like said, that's some of that old music. Like, yeah, man, like I still play regulators like
Oh, yeah.
probably every other day, man. Like that's one of my all-time favorite songs in history.
It was. It was. Yeah, I mean, I remember eighth
Yeah.
grade. That was an eighth grade song. I was in eighth grade when that came out. It was, yeah, I memorized every line. Like, I loved that song. I love that. That was one of my
Yeah.
favorite. Crossroads when we were sophomores. That was another.
Crossroad.
That was another one of my favorites that I kind of like memorized. But yeah, Bone. Yeah, like it is just kind of crazy. Just like I was way more into like music back then, and then I think my favorite artist back then was probably Biggie. Like I felt like I was like an undercover Biggie fan because everybody was like Pac fans because of the whole West Coast thing. But man, I was just always been I loved Biggie back then. So yeah. Okay, that's dope.
Hey,
I mean, how about
I was about to say if I get up and move around, would hurt anything? Because all of a sudden we started getting like blurred.
well, no, don't worry about any of the blurry because it doesn't matter.
Okay,
What
all right,
happens is
cool.
what River, and I can actually edit this stuff out too. So what Riverside does is even if it gets blurry, like the final scene, because what happens is it's saving all of the recording on your phone. And then as time goes, it uploads to the website. So it'll get blurry.
Okay,
It'll get blurry all day, but that's not what it's sending. It's sending you clear to the website. So then when you play it back, it'll be clear the whole time. And I can edit all of
okay,
this. Everything that I'm saying to you, I can edit it out too. So Riverside's
all
pretty
right, yeah,
gangster when it comes to podcasts. So like they're just easy. There's one of the easiest tools you can use. It's tight. And I'm excited because I get to basically watch this again through the editing, and then it'll probably go up either if not tonight, then like tomorrow morning for sure. Because
yeah.
like I love
Hey, and
these.
see, that's tight, man. You always on top of it.
I try to
Like
be.
I never heard of Riverside before you sent me that,
Yeah,
and
and
you
they're
actually
good.
and like hey, you accomplished some of your goal by
Yeah,
like inspiring like us to like want to start our own podcast because
should
me and
you
Shreen have
should
been thinking about starting a relationship podcast
you should do it.
for a
You should
while now,
you should
and
because
like
you
now
have
I know like
how long you and Sharita been together?
man like 27 years,
Yeah.
like not
So
counting
all
marriage. Like if you
yeah
just count before we
yeah
were married,
yeah.
like we've been married for 22 years.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think we were together for like 6 years before we got married. So we're going on like 27, 28 years of
1,000%.
being
That's
a couple.
all. That's the authority that you two have in the space because couples don't make it that long a lot. A lot of there's like you're in the top whatever percent of so many people. 1,000%. I think you guys would do well. I think that's yeah, man. You're already authority in the space. Nobody can talk about being married for 22 years. Like, and then even if they were married for 22 years, they won't have your same perspective. So that's why that alone.
Yeah,
But yes, that is part of my goal is to get all you guys
yeah, yeah.
on, start a podcast. And if you want to, I have a code that you could in the description. There's a code if you want to use Riverside, and I am an affiliate. So I will get a little you could try it out for free. What's tight is if you click on the code, you could try it out for free for 30 days. And then if you end up getting a plan or something, then I will get a small commission. And this is
Okay,
also a good
okay.
time to bring up and this is also a good time to I bring up all my stuff. I have a free newsletter that you can sign up for in the description as well. I also sell life insurance. So if you have questions about that, you can email me in the description as well. Yeah, let me just get those out of the way. How about food? Favorite food from back then? Do you have a favorite food now? Has your palate changed?
Yeah, my so I don't like I know when I was younger I pretty much ate whatever my mom put in front of me. Like I don't think I had
Okay.
a favorite food. it wasn't, and we talked about this earlier. It wasn't until we moved to Dallas, and I really like started paying attention to food and really started like getting like a favorite like type of food.
Oh, okay.
I like so like now I feel like I know I eat everything. Like so there's pretty much not much I don't eat. But man, I really have like I don't know what it is, man. I like Chinese food.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I really love
I mean, I like Chinese food.
like Chinese and Japanese because I love good spicy teriyaki chicken.
Okay.
Oh shit, man, that's my stuff right there. Or like
What about if you're at a
good
Chinese?
Mongolian beef?
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. That's what's up. Hell yeah. So that's what you like now, and like back then, you just basically whatever moms put together.
Yeah, it was pretty much whatever my mom put together back then. Like just because that cul-de-sac, we were at
What
Randy
about
Pinod's
movies?
house a lot. I would eat like whatever
Yeah.
Randy's mom used to feed us
Those
back in the day. Like
and Filipinos are
she
some of my
never
favorite
missed.
food. Yeah.
Yeah. She never missed.
Yeah. That's dope. Shout out to Randy Pinot's. A movie. Do you have a favorite movie back then? Any favorite movies now since then?
Man, like I gotta go with Menace to Society. Like that's always one of my like top movies. Like Menace to Society,
Yeah.
South Central. That was like that was like Juice. Like so that was my like those were some
Yeah.
of my 3 favorites from when I was like young. Boys in the Hood. So I guess that's 4.
All these gangster movies. Yeah.
Yeah, and like those were my favorites, but I liked all the like I definitely liked the Casino. Like, a lot of those like mob movies back then, like Goodfellas.
Those are some of my favorites too. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are classics. So like a little bit
What did
later,
you think
like
of
Bell.
What did you think of the Marlon Wayans spoof of all the 90s gangster movies? Don't
Loved
drink
them.
juice in the hood.
Yeah, don't
You
be a
love that one
menace to
too?
South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
Don't be a menace. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the one. That's the one. Don't be a menace.
Yeah.
Marlon is such a great writer. Like he wrote a lot of those movies and stuff. So like just going back and like thinking like, damn man, the Wayans don't get enough credit. I think that they should, but man, they're so talented. But
yeah. I mean, look how many
And
careers
so nowadays,
they launched.
for sure,
Like they launched
for
so
sure.
many careers of people that are still relevant to this day. Jamie Foxx,
Yeah,
Jim Carrey.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like Tommy Davidson still touring around the world. Comedian David
sure.
Allen Greer.
For sure. I just saw Tommy Davidson when they came to Seattle in 2023. It was like it was like Cat Williams, Tommy Davidson, like Mark Curry. It was like a random thing at Showware. It was like I didn't even they were all there, and that was like that was such a random thing. Okay, hobby. Did you have any favorite hobbies from back then, and then any like has it changed? Do you have anything favorite now?
Yeah. So like, of course, sports. Like I love basketball and football.
Okay.
I used to do models, like plastic models. Like the little Revell, like scales, like little models. Like I really got into like building those and like customizing those with like the hydraulics and like paint, like the custom paint job. Like I like to do that.
Okay.
When I back in high school, that was like something that would like calm me. That and then puzzle. I used to love puzzle.
Okay.
Yeah, like
That's
like
tight.
and then like flash forward, like me and my kids do a lot of puzzles together.
Oh,
Like,
that's tight.
and
that
now
you can
we
share
we
that
get
with
the glue and
you
we
know.
like glue them and like stick them together. And
What's the most pieces that you guys have completed?
we got the most recent one we did was like a big balloon one. Like it was like it showed
Okay.
like I can't remember where it is, but in one country they do this festival every year where it's like a bunch of like hot air balloons, and some artists like took a picture and they turned that to a puzzle. So that was the most recent one we did.
Dang.
That one was hard because it's got all
That's
the
tight.
different colors of balloons. It's like That was a fun one.
That's dope. And then, what used to make you happy back then? What would make you happy back then when you were in high school? It could be anything. And then, like, what makes you happy these days?
Oh man, I would say like no, we knew a lot of the older homies that had like nice cars. Like I used to
Yeah.
like being around like the nice cars, like when they had the hydraulics, or we knew people with like the
Okay.
Dayton's and
Yep.
they had like the big sound system. That always put me in like a happy place. And so to this day, I still love like I just love cars. Like I'll be on my way to work sometimes, especially in the summertime, and you see like just like random car shows, and I always gotta pull up.
Yeah.
Like after a long
Oh, yeah.
especially
Yep.
like
Yep.
in
Yep.
the summertime, like in Puyallup, they
Yeah.
have this thing that's
Summertime
called
is
Cruise the Loop, and I like to just go
okay.
there sometimes after work and then just sit there on the corner, and like all these like nice old
Wow.
cars are just driving around, they're just cruising around, and then some will pull over and they pop their hoods, and you can look, and they're like showing off their engines, and you like learn different things. Like that still puts me in a happy place, just being around those cars, like hearing those engines roaring and
That's dope.
seeing like these
That's
customized
dope.
like cars and paint jobs, and yeah, I love it. I love it.
That's dope. So that's something that you still like to do today then. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. And then if you could go back into time and when we had graduated and you could tell yourself something on that day and you could have a conversation, you know, with your gown that says Alexander in the back, what would you say? What would you say to that? What would you say to that dude?
Man, I would probably tell it like control your emotions more, because I was a
Damn.
hothead. Control my emotions more, and then like I would have told myself to go to like, because I said it earlier. I kind of always wished I went to college, but I knew college wasn't for me. Like I did good in school, but the only reason I did good in school is so I could stay on the sports.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like have to explain to my dad why I have to be on academic probation.
Yep. Yep.
Like
That's
so
so.
I did good in school, and like so like, and I didn't realize it until I got older, and like I graduated with like a 3.5. I know that's not like as high as some of the people we went to school with,
Yeah.
but I wasn't even trying in high school.
Yeah.
Like I was just there, just to be
I
there.
think that was higher than me, to be honest. I didn't have the best GPA. I had a pretty dope SAT, and I think like the combination of that helped me get into. But I also think that to also kind of like double back kind of what I was saying to James. I feel like education, yeah, is important, but there's so many, like, YouTube is the best university out there right now. Like
Yeah,
almost any,
real.
I literally anything that I've been learning lately about, obviously there's going to be hella stuff about making YouTube channels out there on YouTube, but every other subject is out there. If it's anything from plumbing, electrician stuff, there's literally a dude
Every day.
that's doing a video on how to do that thing. And so it's like, it's hard. I just feel like everything's going to, and it's free, and that information's free. So like,
Hey, it's free. Like it's like the new Encyclopedia Britannica. When our
that's what I
parents
mean.
was paying for Encyclopedia Britannica.
Dude, for real. I used to have, my parents bought the set. They got sold. When I think I was like not even 5. Like grew up with those my whole life. Like those books were always like in our house and never really opened them up. Like, like, yeah, it's big, but I see what they were trying to do. But I was like, dude, I was like 3. You guys got hustled. I wasn't going to be able to enjoy any of those Encyclopedia Britannicas until I was like 15, 17, 16, 17. And so I don't know. I
And then
just
we
felt
had the
like, man,
internet. Like,
yes, exactly. And by then, the internet had a million X more information than those encyclopedias. But bless my parents, they were trying. They thought they were forward thinking with the
yeah.
Encyclopedia
We
Britannicas.
had those brown and black books,
Yes,
like the
yes,
brown top with the black at the bottom.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Had like, yeah, it had all these. Yeah, that's why I'm laughing, because that was how information got passed, and so those dudes went door to door, and I'm pretty sure that's how my parents got hustled into getting those. It was like, look,
Guaranteed.
you have a son, you want your son to be smart, because I just remember those books being in the house. At least by the time I was like 4 or 5 already, like I
Yeah.
definitely was not cracking any of those books open, for sure.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah,
We was using them for ramps for our little Hot Wheels cars and stuff.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's what we
all
was
that. Using them to build forts, using them to as just everything to help the fourth leg of a couch. It was like, dude,
Right.
so it was, we were doing a lot. Man, thanks for coming on, bro. And man, I just appreciate you coming on this second episode of the Swayside Connection. We all connected from the
Yes.
Swayside, and sharing your story. And man, I'm just so appreciative. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you for reaching out to me.
Yeah,
Like
for
I said,
sure.
I would have saw it, and then here's the thing: is if I would have saw it, I would have been like, "Hey, why ain't Heinz hit me up?"
Yeah,
But then, so like,
No,
I was like,
I got you.
I was like, no, man. I was like, so you knew I had to get dibs.
For sure. And I'm glad you did. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us today. This is a nice long one, and I hope you guys got some information from that. And you can catch me in the next video. Other than that, peace.